Good morning, guys. Today we're doing brand new work. The heading of our work is called Outcomes and Events, and this is under the section called Statistics and Probability, and it's the last section of this year's work. It's a long section, so we're going to spend about 2 to 3 weeks on this, okay? So there's your date and there is your heading. Make sure you write it down. And then I'm going to take you back in time to something that you've already done. It's called a ratio, okay? So when I have a ratio, it's when I compare two things. For example, in my ratio, I can compare the boys to the girls. There are 13 boys to 12 girls. Be written as the following: 12 ... 13 if I compare the girls to the boys, or 12 to 13, or 12 divided by 13. These are all the ways in which we can write ratios. And ratios are important because you're going to think that way when you do this section of work. Okay, so let's first discuss a few words that are important to today's lesson. The word experiment. Experiment, to try something to get an answer. When I actually go out and do something to get an answer, that is called an experiment. For example, if I have a dime in my hand and I'm thinking, wow, I really want this to be heads, you won't know if it's going to be heads unless you throw it. Throwing the dime and it landing on either heads or tails is called an experiment. Just thinking about it is not an experiment. You're just thinking about it. The next word is outcomes. Outcomes is the result of what happens. So I can throw the dime and then it's heads and I can write down heads. And I throw the dime again and it's heads again and I can write down heads. And I throw the dime and it's tails and I write down tails. So writing down heads, heads, tails would be the outcomes. My outcomes was heads, heads, tails. Okay? An event is when I collect the results. I collect the results of what I just tried out. So I have a collection of all these outcomes is called an event. Okay? A favorable outcome is when something happens that I wanted to happen. So if I hold that dime and I want heads, a favorable outcome would be heads, because that's what we're looking for. So throwing heads would be a favorable outcome. All right. To practice this, I'm going to show you a spinner. You're also going to draw the spinner. The spinner has 6 sides and it has 6 colors. Since you don't have color pencils, I just put in alphabet letters for the colors. P for purple, R for red, B for blue, and G for green. Okay? And the first question we're going to ask ourselves is, what are all the possible outcomes? If I spin this, what could possibly happen? There are, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 possible outcomes. Okay? The next question says, how many ways can I spin red? You just count the red. 2, 3. I can spin red in 3 ways. It can either end up on this one, or that one. So that makes it 3 ways. Okay? So how many ways can I spin red? In 3 ways. Okay? How many ways can I spin blue? 1. How many ways can I spin green? 1. And purple? 1. Okay? Then they can come up with questions that sound a little bit kooky. It says, how many ways to spin not purple? Now, if you look up here, there's just one purple. So if I want things that are not purple, it's the rest of them, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is 5 ways in which this could be not purple. You see that? 5 ways. And I even put in parentheses what they are. Red, 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 blue, green. Okay? So this in a nutshell is what we're going to do today. We're going to look at outcomes, we're going to think about what outcomes could be, and we're going to write it down. Just one more time, your vocabulary for today is experiment, outcome, event, favorable outcomes. Thank you, guys.